Just waiting for that smoke to clear. Welcome to the Arsenal show. We are live today. Yes, we are live. And I'm joined by none other than the voice, the player profile man himself. It's Jerome Marks. How you doing, Jerome?
Yeah, good. Good, thanks. You all right?
I'm good. Are you enjoying the international football break, or are you missing football? The pain of being an Arsenal fan?
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it? Sort of watching games and not really being too bothered, to be honest. You know, like when you're watching England Andorra, it's a bit of a different experience, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, it's. I don't want to say guaranteed win, but it's a guaranteed win. It's a guaranteed win, and even at Arsenal, if we had our equivalent of Andorra right now, we're not thinking guaranteed wins.
You know what? We used to have guaranteed wins. There was plenty of guaranteed wins, sort of not so long ago, but now it's like guaranteed. That's a guaranteed hard game. That's a guaranteed tough one.
Yeah. We're the ones that are advocating. There's no hard games in the Premier League, boys. Yeah, every game is a tough game. Yeah.
That's it.
That's where we're at. So today we are going to be covering the Edu Gaspar interview on Sky Sports. I don't know if you haven't seen it. Edu was quizzed about the transfer policy, the direction of the club, loads of things, all in an 8-minute video. It was a pretty good interview, but it's had a lot of reaction so far. We're also going to be talking about this man, the octopus, they call him. He's back in training. He's back in training with Ben White. Is that going to be a big difference? Is that going to be a catalyst to turn Arsenal season? Although it is only 3 games in, people. Just remember that, 3 games in. All right, so relax yourself. So we're going to get this underway. Jerome, you obviously saw the interview, didn't
you? Yeah.
And there's been a lot of reaction. And first and foremost, the first reaction I saw from quite a few people was, "You're having a laugh. What a joke. Go, just leave. Take you and Arteta out of this club," which is the typical Arsenal response at the moment. But what was your feelings on it?
Oh, well, a bit mixed, I suppose. I know he done another interview, sort of with the official website as well, didn't he? As well as the Sky Sports one.
Yeah.
Look, he presents himself very well, and a lot of the things that he said made a lot of sense in terms of the types of players they were targeting. Mentioned about, obviously it's been a challenging time, not just for Arsenal, but for like every club, especially selling players, which, as Arsenal fans, we've got first-hand experience of seeing that this window, whereas we thought plenty of players would be going, and there's a lot of players still at the club that we thought weren't going to be there sort of beginning of September. He justifies a lot of the moves the club has made. He really justifies them very well. But it's a bit like anything. The proof is going to be in the results and how a lot of these new signings actually play together. And then off of that, you can sort of judge him. I guess he was making the case for the defence, wasn't he? The hierarchy have been really battered. Arsenal fans, the media, maybe fans of other clubs have sort of had a go, and this was like his opportunity to sort of state the case for the defence. Which,
God, do you think this was off the back of that? Do you think this was like a calm down, it's 3 games in kind of message? Do you think this was sort of angled towards another reason, or do you think this might have been from the top? They said you need to have a word. There's a lot of mud slinging at the moment, and the fans just need a bit of reassurance. What do you think it was? Yeah,
I don't know if these interviews would have happened if we wouldn't have lost the first 3 games. I think that's probably had a big thing to do with it. Has it come from the top? Have the Cronkies said you need to do interview? I doubt it. I doubt it's come from them. Maybe there's been a bit of pressure around the club, and maybe they feel themselves that we've got to put something out. I think when Raul was at the club, I don't know if he might have done an interview just with the website, but the last couple of years they've seemed to put out these sort of interviews, and it's normally because the club aren't doing too well. And I think that's been the sort of catalyst for these interviews. And especially during an international break, is probably a good time. Let the dust settle a bit after the last couple of games, and when maybe everyone's temperatures sort of dropped a little bit, and maybe people have got maybe more of a level head rather than going at them all guns blazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, as fans, we ask for we want communication, don't we? So fair play for sort of doing the interviews.
Yeah. So one thing he did say is he said that we've played 3 games. We've yet to have this team fully together. He hasn't seen this team that Mikel Arteta has tried to put together yet. And judge us when they play together. Judge us when we've got a full squad. Do you think that's a fair thing to say? Do you think that would have riled up some of the fans, or do you think that would have sort of rested them a little bit?
You know what? It's a fair thing to say, because if you look at it, I think there's a very good chance that I think 5 of those players, so that's half a team, would be sort of will be what the players that he's talking about in terms of this team playing together, which we haven't seen. So we haven't seen Ben White, Partey, Odegaard, even the goalie perhaps, and Lokonga. I mean, the left back probably may not be in the starting 11, but all the others, the goalies, I guess there's a bit of, we can maybe come on to that later perhaps, about which goalie should be playing, considering everything in terms of the contract and Leno's contract and everything. But I think he's got a point, because we haven't seen those players play together. Yeah. Have we? And no. But the interesting thing is, it's going to be up to the manager to pick them. The manager might not pick them together, and then it's sort of then it doesn't really matter if the manager doesn't pick them.
I think that's some of the criticisms towards Mikel Arteta is sometimes, although he's had an understrength squad, he's had certain players in the team in available, and he's not picked them. You've had Pablo Mari on the bench, and you've picked, say, Kolasinac as a left-sided centre back. Those are the kind of things that may wind people up. But in my eyes, can you seriously say that Pablo Mari is one of your favourite defenders? That he was at the moment in any sort of good form? I mean, I saw him against Brentford, I saw him against Man City, and frankly, he was awful against both. So maybe that's the manager feeling, okay, I've seen you in 2 games, I've also watched you in training, and I'm not feeling confident that you're going to be the man to sort of keep the goals out in this game. We lost 5-0 anyway, so it made no difference. But that's in hindsight.
Yeah. What seems to happen is, I don't know if this should be the case, but people might feel differently, is that he seems to make a lot of knee-jerk reactions, Arteta. Where normally, or back in the day perhaps, you had what you would consider your starting 11. And even if one of those had a bad game, you'd continue playing them, because people can have a bad game. But it seems to be that with quite a lot of this squad, when someone has a bad game, that's it. They're sort of out for a few weeks, and that shouldn't really be the case. Like with Marie, he has a couple of bad games, and that's it. He's dropped for someone that shouldn't even be at the club, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, it's could it be that he's come from a team where that is the case? I mean, at Man City, I hate to keep on talking about Man City because it's 2 seasons since he's joined us, but at Man City, if you had a bad game, you was getting replaced by someone who was like for like, who was as good as, who was going to take your spot and was going to hold down that spot until you took it back off them or they lost it. Whereas at Arsenal, we don't quite have that luxury at the moment where we can swap a main player for someone who's going to come in. Like if we drop a Nicolas Pepe or a Saka, you're bringing in a Reece Nelson or I don't know, something like that. It's it's nothing against Reece Nelson, but we're talking about levels. We're talking about is he as good as this player you're taking out, and that's just not the case.
You can get away with it at City.
You can get away with it at City. You ain't getting away with that at Arsenal. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Another thing that could potentially wind people up is the fact that he says that he needs to be judged. He should be judged when he's got his full team. But when do you ever have your full team throughout a season? And I think that's the thing that's maybe worrying people is if you're asking for your full team to be available to be able to win games or at least put up a challenge against these teams, then what are you going to do when we have a few injuries? What are we going to do when we have one or two of your main players out, which is going to happen? That's when you've got to battle for a win, surely. Yeah.
Also, it's not really up to. I don't think it's up. See, this is where I can understand. Maybe some of the fans don't feel great about this. It's not up to Edu to dictate when they should be judged and when they shouldn't be judged. Judgment's going to come. These. It's not about money, but these guys are in a very highly responsible position. They don't dictate when they should be judged and not. And also, it's not as if they've just stepped through the door. They've been there for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
They've been through. I think I counted Arteta's been here for 4 transfer windows. I believe it's been 4. I think he came. Was it in just before
January
one?
Just between January. Yeah.
So he's been here for 2 summer windows and 2 winter windows, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So he's had a lot of big opportunity to see these players and make his own decisions, and he's been given money to spend, whether it's money that has been put in by the Cronkies or money that's the club have generated themselves. He spent money.
Yeah.
So you're judged as soon as you step in the door. You're judged. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. It's a ruthless business, isn't it? With millions of people, where you've got millions of supporters that are going to judge you.
Yeah, everyone's got their own opinion. Everyone's a pundit and a critic. Come Saturday, 3:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you can't say, "I only judge me when I've got my best players," because that's. Yeah. I think even in the Invincible season, when everyone writes down the Invincible team of who was the 1 to 11, I think they only played together like twice, or it was a silly number, like twice or something. That team played together in the league.
Exactly, and if you look at the team that got to the Champions League semi-finals or even finals, I think it was when Cesc Fabregas scored that goal against AC Milan. If you look at that team, that was a team that wasn't our strongest team throughout. We had Johan Giroud in defence. We had Philip Senderos at centre back. Like we had Justin Hoyt that was playing a lot of games in that season. So these were not star players, like by any stretch of the imagination. They were half decent. They were decent players, but they weren't well beaters. They weren't. And when it boils down to it, they ended up in teams that either got relegated or played in the Championship. So, and that really says where the lever is. So, it's a hard one. It's a hard one to say you could judge me when I've got my full team. It would be nice to have 90% of that team ready, available it would have been nice for the start of the season, because I think we might have got something out of that Brentford game. But what I don't understand is I can understand after the Brentford game there being calls for Mikel Arteta ahead, even though it'd be premature. It's one game in. There'd be outrage. Everyone's fuming because we've lost against a team that's just come up from the Championship. But like, we also lost against the Premier League champions and the European champions. So I don't understand why all of a sudden everyone's head's gone when we've lost against 2 of the toughest teams in Europe. It doesn't make sense. Surely you'd be more annoyed that we lost against Brentford than you are that we lost against Man City and Chelsea. That's what I don't understand. Yeah, even teams that are winning leagues, like even when we were winning the league, we would lose to teams. You lose to the top teams. Mm-hmm. Sorry if you can hear the dog in the background, by the way. That's all right, I'll get someone to keep him quiet. I don't know. I didn't know what you was going to say there. I was thinking there could be some animal lovers here. Be careful what you say.
Yeah,
Be careful what you say.
Yeah, it's all right. Hopefully they'll be quiet. So like that. It's hard to tell like how much you can hear of that.
No, it's not too savage. Another thing that came out. He said about Willian. When Willian came in, there was a lot of talk about Willian, and as we've seen, whether it's on the page or just in general, when we talk to people, no one was happy with Willian's output and what he done while he was at Arsenal. But do you think? Yes, there was the initial mistake behind the signing. However, do you think they dealt with that well afterwards?
No, what I didn't like with what Edu said is that basically they, from what he's saying, it's hard to know what to believe, isn't it? But he said that they sort of spoke to Willian. They said sort of, "How are you?" sort of thing, and then Willian said, not great, and they sort of left it in Willian's. It was up to Willian to decide what happened with him. Whereas, really, there should have been a bit more proactiveness from Arsenal's side to say to this guy, "Look, sorry, mate, it's not happening. It's not happening." Rather than to sort of leave it in. I don't know if they left it in the player's hand, but from what Edu said, it was sort of. They said they gave it to Willian, like, what would you like to do? Oh, I'm not happy. Okay, we'll find you another club. And it should have been, look, mate, you're not performing, so. It's hard to kick a player out of the door when he's got like 2 years left on his contract
and
on a big contract.
Yeah.
But look, I get it in some ways, because for him to come out and publicly slate the player, like you don't really see that, do you? No. You don't really see chief execs or even managers to an extent have a go at the player. They'll protect them in public.
Yeah.
So you're sort of caught between a rock and a hard place in some aspects when you're talking about players.
Because they're probably still hoping that they can get something out of him.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
The thing is, this is a story that we knew about a long time ago. I think we dropped the post in around December. So I was quite surprised that he said at the end of the season. So I think there was probably seeing how it went afterwards. But in December, we were told that Willian, Arteta, and Edu had sat down for a conversation and just to see how things were getting on, because essentially he didn't seem happy, and they came to basically over the chat. They realised that it wasn't working out with regards to Willian's form, and it wasn't working out with regards to what they was expecting of him and what he was expecting of Arsenal. So I think that was the mutual decision from there. And then from then on, it was just, we've got to find you a club. We've got to find you a way out. It's just, as you said, it is a tough one, because what you can't do is turn around to the player and say, you're going, you're off, because the player could then dig his heels in, which we've got with Lacazette, which we've got with, various other players, Kolasinac, many other players beforehand that wouldn't leave. And they can't afford to do that with a player who's not any output on the field, is on 250 grand a week, and has got 2 years left on his contract at 34 years of age. I don't think they could afford to do that. That's the thing. As you can see here, post that we dropped in December, December 30th it was. Arsenal could be looking to offload Brazilian midfielder Willian already. The club don't feel he's lived up to expectations since joining, and the player feels that he may have made the wrong decision while joining Arsenal. Like I said, that was a post. That was a post from December last year.
Exactly. Spot on with that. Just my sort of personal opinion as well is that when you sign a player like that at that age, and they've been at, I don't know if you would call them a rival, they've been at like a fellow London club that's challenging. It sort of is the player's heart really in that move, because a lot of football, especially these days, I think, or actually, to be honest, forever. It's not just about your technical ability. It's like it's all the psychological aspect of the game as well. Like how much do you want it? And if you want it like 0.5% less than the other player, that might not seem a big difference, but it is. And Williams come in here and he's had his career really. Yeah. And when he was at Chelsea, he had to like prove it every week.
Yeah, because the fans weren't really feeling him all the time, were they?
No.
I agree. I was excited about Willian once I saw him the last 10 games of the season at Chelsea, because at Chelsea, that Willian, the last 10 games looked quality. But I also do think, as you're getting to, is they were a bit naive of it. This guy's coming towards the end of his career. The main catalyst for him going to Arsenal is one, that they're in London, and two, that the money. So those are two things which, for me, are alarm bells. Joining a club due to convenience and the fact that they're going to offer you an extra year that no one else would even offer. No one's offering a 32-year-old a 3-year deal. Like let's be honest, because that final year is a write-off, and if you're paying 250 grand a week in that final year, it's silly. It's bad business. Yeah. However, I am of the opposite opinion. I think that once they did feel that it weren't working, they tried to get rid of him, and I think they dealt with it well in that regards.
They probably done the best they could, couldn't they? I mean,
yeah, like where's he going to go? 250 grand a week. That's going to put off people even asking about him. So going to Corinthians, one, he would have had to take a massive wage cut. Two, clubs that are probably in Europe are probably thinking, if we're going to get him and he's going to take a pay cut, we're still going to have to buy out some of his contract. So I think from then on, from the moment they realised that it weren't happening, that was it. I think they did pretty well. Nathan's jumped in. Willian just came too late in his career, a year in which he has declined. And that's probably a part of it as well. Nathan's right. It was a bit too late in his career. He probably had the best moments in his last 10 games at Chelsea. But like I said, I feel like potentially they dealt with it a lot properly. Dealt with it well.
They made the best out of a bad situation, I think, with that one.
Yeah, a bad situation which they put in themselves. Look, we all make mistakes, but it's how you deal with the mistakes that you should be judged on. And if William was still sitting here now, or sitting here at the end of the season, and we were still fuming that he was getting game time, that would be a massive problem for me. But it was evident that he wasn't happy. I think he had one good game, maybe two. I think he had two good games. One was against Fulham, which Edu brought up, and the other one was towards the end. I think when he scored against a free kick against Chelsea, not Chelsea. I can't remember who he scored against, but he scored a free kick, and that was it. One of the main points that Edu made in the interview was the direction of the club. He says that he's trying to build foundations. That was a word that he used multiple times in the interview, was foundations. Trying to build foundations with regards to the profile of the player, the age, the mentality. Are you seeing that? I know we've seen the age. The majority of them are young. Do you think the mentality is right with the players that he's bought from what you've seen so far?
What, the mentality of the players?
Of the player, yeah. I mean, we don't know too much about him, but the likes of Ben White has been through the Championship. He's a player that's been in the lower leagues. Potentially has got a bit of a sort of a mature head on him. He's got that grit as well. The thing is, you don't know about the others. The Congo, you can only guess. Ramsdale, I don't know if you saw his interview, Aaron Ramsdale's interview. That for me, that I was pleasantly surprised by Aaron Ramsdale's interview. If Arsenal fans, if you've not seen Aaron Ramsdale's interview on Arsenal.com, please go and check it out. This guy is a proper Yorkshire lad. He's no frills, straight to the point. I just feel like nothing will faze him. I was worried.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about nothing will phase him. And I think the fans will be able to relate to him. I think he's relatable, isn't he, Ramsdale?
Yes. He got a lot of trolls early doors. Yeah, we don't condone that. But I think that some of them would have changed their mindset from seeing that interview, because it'd have been like, oh, actually, this geezer, he can't be touched. This geezer, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. Amazing,
isn't it? That's all it takes to change a fan's mind is like a few words.
But he said the right thing.
A 5 minute interview, and it's like, oh, I like him now.
Do you know what? Maybe he's actually decent. Actually,
yeah.
Actually, no. Team against West Brom, he was all right. Yeah.
My overall thoughts on targeting these sort of younger players, which is what we've done.
Yeah.
I think on a theoretical side of things, it's wonderful. You're buying young players. You're building for the future, and you hope that these players are going to improve over time. And the main thing is to have a good team on the pitch. And if some of them can generate you money going forward, which we haven't been able to do from player sales recently, then brilliant. However, when you're buying these young players, like with any players, you're gambling that they're going to improve over time. And a lot of the time it does happen, but a lot of the time it doesn't either. And I think the landscape, that's the word, the football landscape we're in at the moment, we're competing against teams that are very good now. And we're buying players with the hope that they're going to be good in the future. And so you're sort of you're not starting 1-0 down, but you're fighting an uphill battle. There's so much competition these days. We're not just fighting with your likes of United and Chelsea anymore. We're now obviously, like has been said multiple times, our competition is sort of Leicester, West Ham, Everton. And normally when you're signing players, yeah, of course, for the future. But if Arteta doesn't get results now with this team, he won't be there at the end of the season. It's as simple as that. You're gambling on your job. But yeah, theory wise, it's great, but it's only going to be great for the team and for the fans if they get results.
Was you worried a little bit by the core? He said around the youngsters, the ones we brought in, the likes of Tavares, Lokonga, White. We've got a core of experience which they're going to learn of, which we've spoken about the experience around the squad. As we've said many a times, we don't feel there's players around the squad for these players to look up to and go, do you know what? That's who I want to take his shirt. I've got a lot to learn off him as well. I've got a lot to do before I can get his spot. I don't think that these players around this squad are looking at what we've got and thinking that. Maybe a couple in certain positions may have that player that he can look up to, but it's a general thing. I don't think they do.
You're right.
He pointed out Bernd Leno, 1 year left in his contract. Alexandre Lacazette, 1 year left in his contract. Granit Xhaka, look, we love him or hate him. Yeah, he was nearly gone to Roma in the summer. Yeah, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. You open the curtains and he's a transfer rumor. There's no smoke without fire. Do you know what I mean? And Thomas Partey, like that was the one. Where it was like, do you know what? Thomas Partey, this guy wants to be here, but for how long? But the rest of them, are they really players that you can hang your hat on?
Yeah, there's question. There's not question marks. There's question marks. It's question mark, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark next to all of those players' names. I mean, let's face it. Lacazette, he won't be here this time next year. Leno, probably the same. Yeah. Aubameyang has got probably 2 years max with us. I can't see him signing an extension to his current contract.
Do you think that if there was to be an offer to come in from Lacazette next season, if maybe he didn't hit it off this season like he has been?
Aubameyang. Yeah, I think so, because otherwise you're going to lose him for free when his contract runs out. I can't see Arsenal making any money in the next couple of years from player sales. I don't know who they can sell that's going to get them any money.
And the other ones that potentially assets that we have got, you don't want to sell. You don't want to sell.
No, you can't sell them. No, you can't.
Odegaard. You can't sell them.
You can't.
So where does the money come from? We're not getting money from Eddie and Nketiah. They've signed up Reece Nelson on an extension of his contract, but how much are you going to get off for Reece Nelson? Even if Reece Nelson has a banging season at Feyenoord, Arsenal are keeping him. They're not selling him. They'd be like, yeah. Do you know what? We always rated you. Give you a 3-year deal.
Nah. Also, what Premier League club is going to spend a lot of money on Reece Nelson that's done it for 1 year in the Dutch league? You're not going to get a lot of money. You're not going to get 20 million, are you? You might get 10 if you're really lucky.
No, well, they've hit the reset button on transfer value. So, yeah, you've got your Haalands, your Mbappes, all these other players, the big names that are always going to fetch big money. But the ones in between, the ones lower, the clubs are just turning around and saying we ain't got the money for them.
No.
So like, where that's not going to change anytime soon, I don't think.
Nah. I can't see him bringing in any money for any players. It's just going to be saving the wages of the players that leave for free.
Mm-hmm. Glenn says we have players for the future, but White, Tomiyasu, Odegaard are going to have to hit the ground running. 100%, 100%, Glenn. No lies there, mate. 100%. And look, the likes of Odegaard. He's had a season in the Premier League already. He's had a season with Arsenal. He's settled. I'm excited about Odegaard. I really like him. Tomiyasu, he's going to need time to settle in. He's a defender. So, again, if we play our strongest team on paper, and I'll ask you your strongest team in a minute, you're probably looking at 3 or 4 players in that Arsenal defence that have only been here a year. And the majority of them, half of them, have only been here a few months. Tomiyasu, White.
Yeah. This is what I wanted. This is what I wanted. I don't know if I'm going off on a bit of a different route here, but I don't want to have a pop at the manager. But he came, Arteta, with a reputation of being a really good coach, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Now, let's face it. The job of a coach is to maybe, if you've got players that maybe aren't great, is to coach them to make them better and to make them play better as a team. Now, so far at Arsenal, apart from maybe 1 or 2 games in that cup run, the evidence of Arteta being a good coach, I haven't really seen it. He's brought in his own players, a lot of them. Mm-hmm. He's had some very good players here already. The likes of Tierney was here already. Obviously, Aubameyang was here. Maybe there might not be too many others. But he's supposed to be this great coach. And there's not a lot of evidence to suggest that that's been. It's easy to look. I'm not saying it's easy, but to coach Sterling, Aguero, De Bruyne, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. There could be an argument to say that the likes of Odegaard, Pepe, I don't know. I'm trying to be a host here, Jerome.
That's all right. Yeah.
I'm struggling because the argument's there. If you're talking about Mikel Arteta, who says a lot of the right things, is meant to be a great coach. The evidence of that should be that he doesn't need his full strength squad to show that this team's good, or how good he is, or how good this team can be. He doesn't need his strongest 11. Yes, there are. We can't, in one breath, talk about how Van Dijk, Liverpool missing Van Dijk is the reason why they dropped so low in the season, and you have to look at Van Dijk and how much of a big impact he was, and then say to Mikel Arteta, well, if you haven't got your strongest 11 or you haven't got your best team out, then it's no excuse. You've got to deal with it. But you have to be able to see something. You have to be able to see that another player is flourishing. Now, I think it's hard to judge so much right now. You're probably going to have to get player testimonies. We probably have to see a bit more longevity with it. The likes of some of the youngsters coming through, how far they can go. But these are all things that a manager will need 4 or 5 years to be able to see how good they are in the long run. Mikel Arteta ain't going to have that if he doesn't beat Norwich, if he doesn't beat Burnley, if he drops points, or not even drops points. If he loses against Spurs, I was speaking to Daniel Childs. He's a child of Chelsea, son of Chelsea podcast, and he was saying that as a manager, it shouldn't be a case that game by game that he's being judged on, because the decision's already been made, and he's right. And I said, if he doesn't have a good run until Christmas, it's just going to be the same as what we had last season. There's going to be uproar. Fans aren't going to be happy, and it will just feel like we might as well change, because it's not good for the club. It's not good for the club, fan-wise. It's not good, like player-wise. And if it's just going to be bitty for another season, then there has been no progression. Like this is the season where he gets judged. I think up until Christmas is when we need to seriously see a big turn in fortunes, a big turn in form, some consistency throughout the team. I think that's paramount for Mikel Arteta keeping his job.
Yeah, exactly.
What else is it? That's it. They say about building foundations. That's it. Do you think this should have been something that they should have been doing years ago? They talk about foundations. They talk about building fresh. But why wasn't this done 2-3 seasons ago? Why wasn't this done for Emery? Why wasn't this done for the final 2 years of Wenger? Why is it now? 5 years down the line, when we're 5 years behind everyone else, playing catch up. Like right now, we're behind Everton's, Leicester's. We used to laugh.
I think the reason why not a lot of teams take this approach is because, just quite simply, you don't have the luxury of waiting 3 or 4 years to see if it turns out good, because by that time you've got left behind. I think that's what it is.
We are.
Yeah. Like managers, like they don't get 2, 3, 4 seasons to see how the team comes out. You come into a team, and on day one, you've got to make a difference.
Yeah.
And because, like you said, there's so much competition. They're being judged the whole time. There's media scrutiny. Like you're not starting off at the bottom of Division 5, and you can right, here we go. We're in the bottom division. Let's plan, and we'll bring in loads of young players, and we'll try and grow, and we'll try and get promoted after this season. We'll try and do this. There's no time, I'm afraid, because if you take that approach and it fails, you're going to get embarrassed. And look, hopefully they've made the right decisions, and when most of these new players are playing together, that hopefully there'll be a big difference. But time will tell. And obviously Saturday, I don't know what team he's going to pick, because I don't know if the right back's going to be available. That they've signed. I don't know what he'll do with the keeper. But you'd like to think, hopefully, we'll see White, Partey, and Odegaard all in the same team. Hopefully, but you never know.
Yeah. So going on that, what team are you potentially going to start? What would yours, if they were all fit, what would your starting 11 be?
Yeah. So I wouldn't play Leno anymore. It's obviously he's not going to be here next season. So
I've heard many people say that as well.
Like I just wouldn't. I wouldn't. I don't see the upside. If Leno was, it's hard. We haven't seen a lot of Ramsdale. But if Leno was so superior to Ramsdale, you might say no. Stick with Leno. It's obvious that he's a lot better. But I don't think there's too much between them. And this guy's going to be the future. So look, if you're not going to play him at home to Norwich, sort of thing, like it's the person. Because even if Leno play, I don't want to jinx it now, but even if Leno plays, he'll have nothing to do all game. He probably won't. Well, hopefully that you can never tell with Arsenal, but
I'm thinking,
you'd like
Jerome,
actually,
have you watched Arsenal? Have you been watching Arsenal?
Scrap that. In theory, though, it should be a good game to play him. So yeah, for me, Leno's finished. He's had his time at Arsenal, and he's obviously going on a free in the summer. So don't play him anymore. Have him as backup, and that's it. So and you spent a lot of money on him.
And that's not Jerome saying Leno's finished. He's saying he don't want to see Leno.
He's not part of the plans.
He's not part of the plans.
He's not part of the plans.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah. So I'd start him. If you're asked, I think the defence probably picks itself because you'd have Tierney left back, you'd have Gabriel and White, and the new Tomiyasu, the new player at right back. See how he gets on.
Playing 4-4-2, yeah.
Yeah, 4-4-2. The midfield, I'd stick Lokonga with Partey, with Odegaard just in front, and my 3 would be Aubameyang down the middle, with probably Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe either side. That would probably be my team, I think.
No room for Pepe, no.
I don't know who I would start on the bench instead of Pepe. Who would you drop? It's either Smith-Rowe or Saka, isn't it?
Yeah, because I think Odegaard needs to play. I think people underestimate what Odegaard brings because he's not maybe the guy that's putting the ball to the striker's feet before he scores, or he's not scoring the goal. But the build-up play beforehand, he's doing very much a role that Ramsey did when he was at Arsenal, which is like the ball carrier, takes it from that central midfield and brings it forward, whether he drops to the right, but he's just always available. So I see him as more of a number 8, if I'm honest. But I don't think Arsenal have got the midfield to hold Odegaard and whoever. Arsenal just haven't got the team, the mentality, the structure, the discipline. Against a lower league team, yes, but there's no one in our league that I'd constitute as a lower league team against Arsenal right now because we're not in a good place. Nathan says Arsenal for me are going to be fighting 10th and 11th spot. No. What is this? I didn't expect to be reading this kind of stuff on the podcast.
Nathan, I wish, mate.
10th and 11th spot. They have no time to improve. That position will be too low for a team like Arsenal. Hence why I see Arteta getting sacked. Wow. Words from Nathan the Duke Ellington. Look, I can't right now.
Yeah.
Go on. Ask
he's right. He's right. I was going to say actually. What do you think the cut-off point is for Arteta this season? Where does he need to finish to? Where does he need to finish to get sacked? How low is too low?
How the thing is, I don't see him surviving to the point where it gets to the end of the season if it's not looking good. Like right. I don't see this going past Christmas if it continues in any way, shape, or form the light it is now. If he puts out his so-called strongest team, or even close to it, missing 1 or 2 players here and there, which is just is your strongest team because you don't get your strongest. They won't have it. They get rid of him if he puts in bad performances and he's got his strongest team out. I don't think it looks good. There's nothing that I've seen so far that says to me that Mikel Arteta is going to play this team out of it. I don't. I hope he does. Because I think he's got the right mindset with regards to the discipline that he wants the players, what he's asking for some of the players. We've heard he's meant to be a very good coach. It's just nothing I've seen so far which makes me feel that Arsenal are going to get out of a dead end. And this is the same team that haven't been able to get out of dead ends for the past 5 years.
Yeah, Kieran, who would your sort of first choice 11 be? Would it be similar to that, just with maybe one or like maybe a change? Perhaps?
I mean, I'm with you. Starting Ramsdale. we won't go into the whole Martinez situation. That just stresses me out. So it's like you said, Bernd Leno, there's no future at Arsenal. He's not signing a new deal. What's the point in playing him? Stick him on the bench. If he's needed, then we'll play him. Kieran Tierney at left back. Central defence of... I want to see Gabriel Magalhaes. I was very encouraged by his start last season to the season. And it got a bit sticky in the middle. Understandable, he's a young defender. And Arsenal weren't in a good place at the time. But when he came back towards the end of the season, he was looking good. So I'd like to see him start. Ben White, again, not the best of starts, but I think with someone like Gabriel, if they can get a nice partnership together, I think it could be very, very good. I would also start Tomiyasu because I want to see what he's saying. He seems like very much he's quick, but he seems like very much defensive right back. And with Kieran Tierney on the side, it will probably bring a bit more balance. It means that he can have a bit more license free to go forward, and we'll probably shift that into a back three when he does. Midfield, Thomas Partey. I really like the look of Lokonga. I think he looks like 15 million. I think Arsenal have got themselves a serious. I'd like Arsenal to keep on buying players like that, like 15 million, 20 million gems that no one's touched, because we see these players in the Premier League at other teams, the likes of Basuma, the Grealish before he got bought by when Tottenham could have got Grealish for like 15, 20 million. Like all these players, they're available, they're about. Why not get them? Because Arsenal need to start making superstars, not buying superstars, because we can't deal with their egos. So Lokonga and Partey in the centre of midfield. This is a tough one. Odegaard just in front of them. I would have Saka on the right. Definitely. You can't lose his spot.
It's Pepe or Smith Rowe, basically.
Yeah, do you know what?
Two, yeah.
I'm gonna go for Smith Rowe. No, for Pepe. I'm gonna go for Pepe because Pepe scores goals, and I think and he gets assists as well. I think he's more dangerous than Smith Rowe. And I think Smith Rowe has still got a lot to learn. I think he can do that by being hungry, coming off the bench as well, fighting for his spot for whoever. I think sometimes some of our players get the spots handed to him too easily. Although he has kept his spot by playing well. But he's still young, still got a lot to learn.
So some people sort of think like numbers on the back of a shirt don't mean anything. So do you think that like giving him that shirt, number 10, is that like, would you not have done that basically? Do you think that's, or do you think, look, it doesn't really mean much, like have it, well, it's a number, or what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm of the mindset that I don't think it matters too much. I don't think Smith Rowe would have been promised a dream that he's going to be playing week in, week out, and the number 10 shirts means that's your spot forever. I think that it was more of a gesture to show that what they think of him as opposed to what he is now. Because look, I'd be hyped up by it, but I wouldn't let it go to my head, and I don't think that he would either. I don't. I think the shirt number is more, one, the fans, and two, as an individual player. So some players may really feel a shirt number, feel something's heavy. I think the majority. Me and Nathan spoke about the other Downey's pod. He says himself, certain players will want a number, but the majority of players don't care. They don't care about the shirt number. It's not that important. Yes, they want to play. They want the number 9 shirt or the number 10 shirt because it means they're starting. But other than that, it doesn't mean anything. So some people want the numbers, some people don't. I personally don't think it will weigh down too much on him. And from what I'm seeing so far, it hasn't.
No.
People, please press the like and subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, smash that retweet, smash that like. Should have said that earlier. I'm so sorry. As I was we've got competitions coming up where you can win yourself a shirt. Hopefully, no promises, people, but I'm going to try and get it signed. Yeah, but we will be giving away some shirts for subscribers. And don't worry. If you are an early subscriber, if you have already subscribed, you still get a chance to get a shirt. I'm not going to let the people who supported us early doors not have an opportunity to get a shirt. That's just raw. And that's not what I'm about. This isn't new customers only deals. This is everyone. I'll be going through the names. We put them in a randomizer, whatever. We ask questions, whatever. Competitions are coming up, giveaways are coming up. So please press that subscribe button. Coming soon. All right, let's look at the comments section right now. Glenn says a back four with Tini, Gabriel White, Tomiyasu are all players that Arteta wants and should allow his system to thrive. I just hate how his system is only successful with specific players. I mean, you're going to have a little bit of that. Because if the squad's not his squad, if the players aren't his players, then they're not going to fit a system. They're not going to understand what he wants. But now it's starting to get where this squad, he's either worked with them for 2.5 years now, or he's brought them in himself. So we are getting to the point where there's no excuse. Once he gets his full team in, he's got to do it. It says let Ramsdale battle for the spot of Leno. If Leno loses, so be it. He isn't committed to the club. He'll leave in the summer and he will bring Onana. What's my name? Well, Arsenal missed out on that. Yeah, look, if I'm honest, I don't think we're going to get Onana. I think if they were going to get him, they would potentially have already got things sorted. From what I'm hearing, Inter Milan are after him, and I mean, if you've gone out of a band and Inter Milan are sniffing around you, there's no reason why you're going to choose Arsenal. I'm sure it would all depend on Europe, but we'll find out more towards the end of the season. Nathan's giving his starting 11. Leno, boo. Tierney, Gabriel, White, Tomiyasu, Partey, Xhaka, Pepe, Saka, Odegaard, and Aubameyang. It's a more experienced team with the likes of Xhaka in there, Saka in there over Smith Rowe, and Leno in goal as well. I mean, it's to be fair, if there's ever a Mikel Arteta team, I think that's it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it. Maybe Smith Rowe for Pepe, but I think that's the team we're going to see. And if that is the team, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
And like you were saying, Edu in his definitely in the interview with Arsenal that he'd done, he basically mentioned that Lokonga is basically back up to Xhaka and Partey, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that Lokonga can't take Partey's or Xhaka's top, which is what we want. We want that competition because then that player is going to be fighting to get his shirt back as well. He needs to finish above 10th, to be fair. No, look, if we're talking about 10th, yeah, I'm sweating right now, Nathan. If we're talking about 10th, Mikel Arteta is gone. Mikel Arteta is gone. Yeah. I spoke about this when we said about the season opener. Arsenal need to be getting into Europe. There's no 10th. The 10th is not even a. It's not even a. I feel like you're winding me up. There is no 10th. There's no 10th in this conversation. It's not about 10th. Yeah. Arsenal needs to be getting Europe. They need to be getting in top 6. Not 10th. I don't want to see 1-0s again. Hey, you're definitely trolling. If Arteta goes, who's your first choice replacement? Quick fix with Conte or someone like Potter or Mars? Look, I'm sure you're saying Conte is a quick fix because he's an experienced manager. You've seen what he's done with Inter Milan and Chelsea. He only generally does 3 years at a club. it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Look, I like the idea of a Conte. Yeah. However, can you seriously see Arsenal bankrolling Conte and what he wants? I honestly can't. I honestly can't. I can't see him doing it. There was rumours about Allegri a few years back. Didn't push through with it. There's rumours about Allegri last year. Didn't push through with it. So I just don't see this board doing anything like bringing in a Conte and then letting him have what he wants. Remember, this is a Conte that went to Chelsea, a Chelsea team with Hazard, Kante, and all of the players they had there, and he still wasn't happy with the team that he had. The following season, he threw his toys at the pram because he wanted Lukaku. They didn't get Lukaku. I think they got a Morata in the end. Didn't work out. He ended up leaving. Same thing happened with Inter Milan. He done the first season, won the league the second season. Third season, it was meant to continue. There was talk that they were going to have to sell a load of players, and he walked. There's nothing about this Arsenal team, that tells me that Arsenal are willing to keep their best players when they need money. Every single year, we've had our top players, we've had to sell them. Robin Van Persie, Thierry Henry, Vieira, Sanchez. Like we sell our best players. So why would Conte come and be happy to be here? I don't see it. Graham Potter, I like the idea. I like Graham Potter as a manager. Do I want him as Arsenal manager? No. Not personally, I don't. If I'm honest, I don't really know.
There's not a lot of standout candidates, are there?
Give me Roberto Mancini. I'll take a Roberto Mancini. Someone passionate. I'll have Mancini. He gets the best out of his players. A bit too passionate sometimes. I mean, if you've heard any of his interviews, from players that played with him, they said, Mika Richards was the best one. He turned around and said that Mancini was just so passionate, it was ridiculous. Like, Yaya Toure went on AFCON, and Mancini kicked through the door in the dressing room, was so upset, and they said, "What's wrong, Burrs?" He said, "We're fucked. Yaya Toure's on AFCON, we're fucked." That's the one. Mika Richards turned around and was thinking, "No, he's right, but we don't need to hear that." And he's right. He's right. You don't need to hear that. But I like passionate managers, and go on, I'll take Roberto Mancini. Steve has jumped in. He said, "I can't hear watching the seventh tiger dancing to Rapper's Delight on the stage." Thanks for that input, Steve. Nothing football related. Brilliant. Do you think that Arsenal will go for Maddison or Aouar in January? No. Okay, so these are my reasons why. Facebook user, hit us up on YouTube and give us a subscribe. Yeah. Jump in the comment sections. We'll have a conversation. But this is why I don't think Arsenal will go for Maddison. Money, 60, 70 million, and Leicester are not a club that buckles when it comes to teams taking their players. Maddison, 70 million. Ben Chilwell, 50 plus million. We can go on. Like it doesn't happen. If any club wanted Sionchu, you're talking 60 million. Like, and it will continue for any of their players that anyone wants. Harvey Barnes would be the same, 50, 60 million. Because they don't need to sell, because they're a club that are going in the right direction. They pay decent money, and they're in Europe. Why do they need to sell to a team like Arsenal? Maddison won't be pushing for a move because he's in a relatively good place. He wouldn't force a move to Arsenal, because why would you force a move to Arsenal? Like, why? Facebook user, would you force a move to Arsenal if you was Maddison? But not a chance. As for our, like, I think we need to move on from our. Like, there's always talk about Hossein Mawar, and like he's the only central midfielder in the world. Like, look, I understand 20 million is an absolute bargain for a player of his talent, but why are they willing to sell him for 20 million? Why did Juninho come out a few weeks ago and talk about players with bad attitudes? Why has no other club touched him for 20 million? This geezer's a French international. 20 million. Now, I know that there are players that previously, Ben Hatim Arthur, Yayon Kabul, even the likes of Robin Van Persie, and there's many more players that clubs said had a bad attitude, and club teams were able to turn it around. Maybe not so much with Ben Arthur Hatim, but with Yayon Kabul they were, and they were able to get something out of Hatim Ben Arthur every now and again, depending on the manager. But I just think Arsenal fans in general need to move on. There's more midfielders in the world than Basuma and Aouar. So I challenge you, Facebook user, to come up with a different central midfielder other than Hossein Mawar that you would like to see at Arsenal. How about that one? Nathan. Haha. Think about it. Man United. What I'm gonna have to read every single team now that's gonna be above Arsenal. Okay. You're definitely trolling. Man United. I love the way you put Man United at the top of the league like they're gonna win it. Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Leicester, Everton, Spurs, West Ham. I see all 8 of them teams ahead of Arsenal. Leeds and Arsenal, Villa next teams, really. 9th and 10th, 11th spot, fine out. Tell me I'm wrong. You're wrong. Okay, can we move on? He's the last comment. Nathan, Jerome, tell him he's wrong. Tell him why he's wrong.
We are competing with West Ham, Leicester, Everton. That's our competition.
But on paper, our squad is that team. Are they teams that we should really be competing with, or should we be doing better than that?
Look, in an ideal world, we'd be competing for the league, really, wouldn't we? In an ideal world, but I can't believe we're talking about like 8th, 9th, 10th.
Look. Okay, let's go through these. Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea.
Yeah, forget about them.
Not even the same conversation. We're moving them off the page, yeah? Leicester, look, seriously, you're telling me Everton are better than Arsenal? We're not talking about like within the first 3 games. We're talking about throughout a season. Because we've seen over the last 30 years that Everton have not been able to withstand a full season, whatever form they're in, because they just don't have the depth in squad and the quality of player throughout to be able to go through the full season. Leicester are currently better than us. I'm not even going to argue that. But should they be finishing ahead of us with the team that we've got? It's touch and go. Leicester are just in a good place over the last three seasons, and they're moving in the right direction, and Arsenal are moving in the opposite. So, I mean, you can have that one. Spurs, who knows? I don't even really want to talk about them. West Ham, again, they're not really a team that Arsenal should be even competing with. Leeds, it's not even a conversation. I'm sorry. Bielsa plays gung-ho. And in certain games that works, in certain games it doesn't. So, and he's not going to change the way he plays. So, unless he brings in better players, no. Villa, again, no. They're not a team that Arsenal are competing with. So, Arsenal should be getting 6th spot, 7th at a push. But yeah, I'm not having Everton and West Ham and Leeds and Villa in that conversation. And that's serious. So I'm telling you, you're wrong there. Serious. All right. So, last one for the day. Jerome.
Yeah.
This man is back.
They
call him the Octopus. Will that be enough? But also Ben White is back. Let me have a little quick look at the team news. Ben White is meant to be back. I mean, is the next game Wimbledon or is it the Norwich game?
Yeah, Norwich on Saturday.
Norwich on Saturday. I didn't want to say, are we winning? Like, because I don't want to jinx it. Is Thomas Partey enough and Ben White? Actually, forget Ben White because we don't know. We don't know what Ben White's saying. All right, is Thomas Partey enough to kickstart Arsenal's season?
Nah, not on his own. Not on his own. Brilliant player. He's shown glimpses, hasn't he, of what he can do.
Did you see him in pre-season?
Yeah. Until he got injured. Looked top drawer.
Yeah. He looked like he was gonna have a good start.
Yeah. On his own, not enough. But if he's surrounded by a couple of decent players, then it should be enough. It should be enough for Norwich. I hope he plays him. Look, he's obviously hopefully they've had nearly a week of like full training. Mm-hmm. Back with a lot of the players. Yeah, he's got to play, especially with obviously Xhaka's out, isn't he? He's going to be suspended for Saturday.
Yeah, 3 games in it.
So your hope. I mean, when Arteta picks his team, there's always a couple that you think, oh, why has he picked him? I hope he doesn't, but I can just see him picking El Nene. I can see it.
Yeah, El Nene. By the way, El Nene is not going to be going to Bess's test. That deal fell through because of his wage demands. Do you know what? Look, we're talking about 4th, 5th choice midfielders. I don't mind El Nene as long as we've got better, like decent midfielders in front of him. I just worry about what we've got in front of him and how much better it is than El Nene.
But no, mate, it'll be great to have Partey back.
Yeah,
like just visually, it just makes such a. The game looks better, doesn't it, when he's playing?
Do you think it'll be too early for him? Because you don't want to risk him. This guy's been injured non-stop throughout last season. He's been out since the Chelsea game, although the Chelsea game was an impact injury.
Yeah, that's it. Like, it just depends on the type of injury it was. Mm-hmm. And he's got. You want to see him play. If there's no risk, not like when they brought him back last time against Spurs too early, and it was obvious that it was like too early. Like if the injury is healed, I think
again it was naivety on the manager's part there because Thomas Partey turned around to him and said, "I want to play. I'm fit. I'm okay." And within about 10 seconds, you could see that he clearly wasn't okay.
Yeah.
All right, Facebook user, I need your name, man. Otherwise, I'm going to call you Frank. I'm going to call you Frank. All right, he's chosen Frank Kessie. Yes, I like Frank Kessie. That wouldn't be a bad buy. He's very all round. I do, however, feel we could potentially have 3 Thomas Parteys in the team. I mean, and that's never a bad thing. I would just like a bit more creativity when it comes to a midfielder that I think Arsenal need. I think they need very much an all-rounder, but I think that all-rounder needs to be more of the attacking side. Even if it was like another Odegaard-esque player, I think that's what Arsenal need more of. So yeah, but thanks Facebook user. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on YouTube as well. Been a good combo. All right, people. Thank you for joining us. Jerome, you're going to be joining us for the pre-match preview of the Norwich game?
Yes. Yep, I'll be there.
Great.
For that one. Interesting to see which ones of those players are going to play. I can't see him playing the right back, I think, because he's away with Japan, isn't he, at the moment? So I don't think he'll play, but yeah, hopefully when we speak next, it'll be Partey in the midfield.
It'll be Partey in the midfield and a after party once we get the 3 points. How about that one? West Ham, Everton, Leeds have just have settled teams. That's the only reason. No. Okay. West Ham, very good under David Moyes. Yeah, very, very good.
Moyes,
very good. Moyes, very good. Everton, no. Just no. Because, no, in fact, who did Everton get as their backup striker? Oh, they got Rondon, didn't they? He's a good player. They got Rondon. Because I think that was the problem. When Calvert-Lewin weren't scoring or he's off form or he's injured, they had that Toussaint or whoever. He was awful. But yeah, they've got Rondon. I actually like him. He's trouble. Damari Gate, player. Yeah, very good.
Oh yeah,
very good. Andros Townsend, miracle hair growth. So yeah, he's not a bad player as well. Rafa Benitez will get criticised for the type of player he brought in, but he knows what he wants. He wanted wingers. He wanted out-and-out wingers that could cross the ball or cut in and shoot, and that's what he's got. I think what you've got more with Rafa Benitez is you've got an identity of how he wants to play and what he wants from his players. I feel like that's a little bit lacking with Mikel Arteta at the moment, it remains to be seen once he gets his full team. I did think he had that when he had that team that won the FA Cup. But that got quickly dismantled at the core when you sold the goalkeeper. So yeah, and I think that was had a massive impact on the team. Glenn Cook says from the interview Edu had, it looks like after this summer we'll probably offload more in January and prepare for big name signings in the summer. Glenn, I like your I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Positive spin on things. However,
optimism.
Optimism. Yeah. Sorry, but I had a brain fart. Optimism. Yeah. But tell me a big player now. But before I say peace out, stay safe, and wash your hands, yeah, Glenn. Tell me a big name signing that will come to Arsenal in the situation we're in now. Yeah. Tell me, is this big name signing coming because we've got back into Europa League? How's it working? Because it felt like before the summer, sorry, Bear. You couldn't come up with nothing. You couldn't. You tried. Hit us up in the comment section, Glenn. Tell us the big name signing that Arsenal could sign come summer. All right, people. Thank you for joining us today. We've got Nathan Ellington in the house in the comment section. I'm hoping that you guys are taking full advantage of having an ex-Premier League striker in the comment section, asking for autographs, asking for signed shirts. Make sure you ask him all the questions that no one wants to go up to him and ask him when they're on a night out or they're sitting there in a supermarket doing his shopping. Ask him in the comment section now, people. Keep it PG. All right. We've got Glenn Cook, a regular. Thank you for joining us, Glenn. Roadman Ty. I personally know Ty, a good friend of mine, top guy. And I know this is not Ty. However, thank you for joining us, Ty, Roadman Ty. I hope you press the subscribe button because that's a new name I'm seeing there, Roadman Ty. Love it. Who else we got in the room? CK3. I've not seen you before. Please come and join us on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. And I know you're hitting the like. And as soon as you're on Periscope or Twitter, hit that retweet. Go on, hit the retweet. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hey, no. Get out of it. Glenn said, yeah, Haaland.
Go on, Glenn.
Glenn, come on, man. Haaland ain't joining Arsenal. Arsenal 2001 maybe, but not this Arsenal. Bissouma. I'm gonna put Bissouma and Aouar as key words that won't pop up when people write in anymore because I can't say these two names. Maybe
Glenn just spell Bissouma wrong and it'll still pop up.
Maybe Haaland's brother. Is he any good? Is he any good? Because Arsenal should sign him now, even if he's like 8.
Nathan will take Haaland's old man.
Things have happened. Yes, crazier things have happened. Like a bag of frogs or cats. Crazy things. Like not that. Haaland joining Arsenal is just it's impossible.
Agent Odegaard.
Agent Odegaard, maybe. All right. Thank you for joining us tonight, people. Thank you, of course, for joining us tonight, Jerome.
Yeah, of course. Cheers. Thanks, everyone.
All right. As I said, thanks for the comment section. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, people. There we go. Hit that like and subscribe. Go on for these guys. We've got the Man United show coming up later this week. We've got pre and post match on Saturday. And, of course, the transfer exchange show coming tomorrow. There's no transfer special. The transfer specials are only for the transfer windows, but we've got the transfer exchange show back tomorrow. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.